Hi again. Well, we're continuing on with our series. I hope you have your pad and pen ready because I'm even going to be writing here today because I want to give you some little hints. We're going to talk about indigestion. You know, the bloating and the belching and all the other uncomfortable things that one goes through, and not to say anything about the embarrassment part of it. I want you to really understand one of my secrets that I'm going to share with you. So don't tell anybody, if they're not watching the show, don't tell them this for nothing, okay? When I teach you about food combining today, I can guarantee you, you're going to have the secret to your digestive disorders, but also the secret of weight loss. So you're going to get a double whammy today. You know, I want to give you an example of a scenario, which probably everybody hearing me today has gone through. So you go to the restaurant, you know, you get your salad, your main course, and you know, the service isn't always so terrific. But you know, towards the end of the meal, you know, when the waiter or the waitress, they're really giving you good service, you know, when it's getting close to tip time. And about that same time, they bring out the dessert tray. Now, I have never heard a man say this, and I don't even think there's a man in this century that has ever done this. But we women do this very often, not I. But I used to. And the tray will come out, and the first thing you'll say to your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, you want to share. You know, like you just ate a full steak and everything that went with it. You were quite capable, but all of a sudden this guilt comes on. The thing that you really want more than anything else, you're going to share. Well, in my case, I don't share. I mean, there's nobody I go out with and want to share a dessert. I don't want anybody to have what I really want. I don't eat dessert all the time, but when I do, and if you see me out there eating, don't disturb me because it's my treat, okay? But now you've had the dessert. And remember, it always has a little bit more coffee and whatever you're drinking there. And before you're even through, you get this feeling right in here, oh my gosh, I feel like women, they want to undo their bra. The men feel a little tight. Boy, I'm glad I have elastic waist. You know, everything feels terrible. And then you'll find a few people, and of course we're on a television show, so I can't mention products, but you know, they'll say, well, do you have any of those? Do you have any of those? You know, for the indigestion and the gas, whatever's going on right now. And you're really feeling terrible. So I'm going to teach you how to not feel terrible and not feel guilty when you want to have dessert, when to have it. It's not that you can't have it. Well, maybe some of you can't, so you don't want to come and visit me because I might have to tell you initially you can't have any. So until you really want to feel better, I'm going to give you the rules right now. So we're going to start with protein. So I hope you've got your pad and pen ready. And remember, the things that I share on this show, don't tell anybody about it. It's a secret. They've got to watch the show themselves if they're interested. Okay, let's start with protein, okay? Okay, I never pass penmanship either, so make no comments here. Protein has to stay in your stomach about 3 hours to actually break down so that you can get the utilization of its nutrients. Okay, this is very important for you to understand this. 3 hours. I hope you're writing, because my writing you might not understand. Well, then we have fat. And everybody hears about fat and they think fat is terrible. But fat takes 3 to 5 hours to break down in your stomach. And protein and fat together really give you energy. Now, I'm not giving anybody carte blanche here to go eat a whole bunch of fat because there's good fats and bad fats. What I am saying is if you had your chicken and you had a baked potato and you put some butter on it, you're in good shape. Now, some of us will cop out, and I'm not asking anybody to raise your hands, even though you're watching this at home, but I know a lot of you will start smiling, particularly if you have a weight problem. Some of us will admit to eating a brick of ice cream of a day, and you know, you're smiling now, but hey, I did it a few times, through the evening, that is. And that doesn't make you sick to think about that. But if I said to you, have you ever eaten a brick of butter? It would make you, ooh, Lord, who would ever do that? They're both fats. So I'm trying to give you the difference. So protein and fat together will give you energy, a small amount. Okay, then remember the dessert. This is a carbohydrate. It only takes 5 to 20 minutes. We're not talking about hours now. We're talking about minutes to get into the stomach. So what has happened? You know, you're finishing that dessert and all of a sudden you're getting this feeling in here, oh my gosh, what did I do? I ate too much, You never think that it was a dessert because it couldn't be the dessert. It has to be everything else you were eating, you know. But what happens is this now all mixes with this. This is called fermentation. People want to call it indigestion and bloating and gas. And of course, you know, if you can make a name like reflux, then the drug companies can make a drug for it and they're on their way to another few $billion. This is what this is. You have now combined the carbohydrate, which is a sugar, with your protein and fats. So consequently, what you thought was a good meal and that you ate maybe something right, you've messed it all up. This affects you many different ways. Because of the fact your protein didn't break down, it wasn't able to turn into an amino acid. You need 30% of amino acid every day. So when you get up in the morning, I know a lot of you don't want to have breakfast, but you have time for coffee and a donut and everything else. Remember, you've been on a fast all night. And I have a time with my patients getting them to have breakfast. Now we have terrific drinks that are low in carb that are wonderful. But it's really important when you come off a fast to have protein. So now, you've now had your 3 hours that you've lost, the 5 hours that you've lost, this has all gotten mixed in together. Some of you will suffer with gas, digestion, bloating, all the things that you have, and you'll try to put something in your body to give you hydrochloric acid. Well, unfortunately, in these days, I would say by the time you're about 25, 30 years old, you don't have much hydrochloric acid left. And when you take these things that you get in the store, you know, the names I can't mention, you're taking out more hydrochloric acid. What you want to do is have a proper digestive enzyme if you have a problem and learn food combining. So, you know, the typical breakfast, particularly on the weekend, you know, if you eat breakfast, is let's have the orange juice and the bacon and eggs and whatever. Well, what have you done? You had your orange juice here, so you had your sugar here, and then you went and had your protein and fat. Well, if you had it all together, you're doing the same thing. However, let's say you got up in the morning and did something wonderful for yourself, like exercise. So you got up and had orange juice, if in fact you can. Now, a lot of people shouldn't be having that, because if you have sugar problems or if you don't know whether you do or not, it's very important that you find out, because a lot of very good foods could be injurious to your health right now and create other problems. Besides, this could make your body more acid. But if you're going to have something, have an orange. Why have juice that's all processed? Why not get a proper orange? Make sure you eat the white around it. You know, this the part that y'all throw away. We have some garbage cans that are better nutrition than our bodies, because that has bioflavonoid in it, and if you have to go buy that, it's great for the immune system. It costs a lot of money, and you're throwing it away. So let's say you had your orange, then you exercised, and then you had your breakfast. That would be an okay thing to do, no problem. On the other hand, if in fact you wanted, gee, you know, I know I'm going somewhere, they're going to have pie that I really like, you know, fine, wait at least 2.5 hours before you have your dessert, because that sets up your body. First of all, it's giving this a chance to break down, but second of all, your body is set up so the enzymes are going to work for you rather than against you. All this has to do with how you're going to feel and going to act if you're going to put on weight, because if your foods cannot break down properly, they turn into fat. You know, you can only use so much fat in your body initially. That'll help. These two, as I say, will give you energy. Some of it will go out, be secreted in your urine fairly soon. Some of it will give you immediate energy. The balance, about 60%, is going to turn into triglycerides. Triglycerides are fat. I have all the fat cells I had at 311 pounds. Unfortunately, they don't go away. What happens, though, is we shrink them out, and we want to keep them that way so we don't get fat again, or we don't feel bad again. In my case, I had bad digestion, which was, of course, aggravated everything else. And most people who have problems with their health have digestive problems, they have elimination problems, and these are the things that are creating toxicity in their body, which we talked about last week. And so digesting and assimilating is real important. So just to recap, if you're going to have your protein, have it separated from your carbohydrates.